Hello guys, it's Mark. Today we're going to talk about panic disorder. Panic disorder is a sudden outburst of discomfort and fear. It's an anxiety-related disorder, and anxiety-related disorders are the most prevalent disorder nowadays in the modern world. And what are the symptoms of panic disorder or panic attack? It could be dizziness, it could be cold sweat, it could be palpitation, it could be shortness of breath, nausea, abdominal pain, trembling, and if you meet any of these symptoms, 4 of these symptoms, you could be clinically considered as panic disorder. So, what are the causes of panic disorder? It could be inheritability. So, if your parents, siblings have anxiety-related disorders or panic disorder, there's a high chance. It could also be insomnia. If you have not been sleeping well for the past 2 weeks, frequent wake-ups, and haven't been sleeping for more than 4 or 5 hours, it's also really associated with a panic disorder. People who have agoraphobia, so if you're scared of going to public space with a lot of people, or crowded space with a lot of people as well, you have a high chance of developing panic disorder. So it's an anxiety-related disorder. So the main source is anxiety. This is very important because panic attack is an overreaction of your flight and fight response. So if you feel like you're going to drown, and if you actually think that you're going to drown and you're going to die, it's going to reinforce your autonomic response, and it's going to reinforce the symptoms. So it's going to worsen the symptoms of high palpitation, shortness of breath, dizziness, shaking, and the fact that you have to keep reminding yourself that it's not life-threatening, it's just an overreaction of a flight and fight response. It helps your body and helps your mind to know that, okay, actually I'm not under any threat. And so it makes the span of panic disorder shorter by understanding that you're not under threat. There's this case where this boy who had panic disorder, he was trembling, he was shaking, he was choking, and suddenly he farted, and then he started laughing, like impulsively, laughing that he just farted. And then the body and he realized that he's not under any threat. So finally he calmed down as soon as he started laughing. So it's an example of your James Lange theory, which kind of explains that your body, your physiological response comes first, then your emotion follows, to tell your body that you're not under fear. So you have to tell yourself that panic disorder is not an attack, first of all, and it will not harm you, and it is not life-threatening. Panic disorder is not life-threatening. The second thing you have to remind yourself is that you have to face your anxiety, because anxiety is the ultimate source of your overreaction, and running away from it will only magnify the problem in your mind. So you have to face whatever you're fearful of. So it might be a relationship, it might be an object, like phobia, rat phobia, or it might be a situation. It's causing you very anxious. In Hong Kong especially, we have this political unrest, so it's causing more anxiety in society as well. But we have to face what we are anxious about and think of it step by step, and evaluate it and think of it positively. So we have to go and break this negative cycle of magnifying our problems. And in psychology, in clinical psychology, we have this concept called desensitization. It's also called exposure theory. So in short, is to expose yourself to this phobia. You have to make a step out of your comfort zone and to talk about whatever you're scared of. For example, my mom is very scared of rats. She hates them, and she can't handle them, see them, or think about them because of trauma in her childhood. I think it's because she watched a horror film where the rats were crawling around the corpse. So that really left her image since childhood. So through this desensitization, first you have to make this hierarchy of fear, and so the least scary parts bottom, the highest scary tasks are in the top of the pyramid. And the clinician will ask her to first watch a movie with Mickey Mouse in it, and Mickey Mouse is kind of like a rat. And then maybe next step is to watch a documentary about rats. And then next step, it escalates, and next step is to look at a real rat in a box. And until it escalates until a point where she would be asked to touch and maybe pet a rat. So these are ways to desensitize yourself, so to expose yourself to this stimuli, which initially causes a lot of overreaction, but through a lot of frequent small steps of exposing yourself to this phobia or this fear, you gradually get less reactive towards that stimuli. So not only does it work on rats, but it works on practically anything you're fearful about. So perhaps it's your relationship, or perhaps it's social problems. You have to first, I would suggest you to talk about it. Dialogue is very important because it gives you time to your brain to evaluate it and to build like a grammatical structure to talk about it, to explain it to your friends. So catch one of your best friends, make him sit down and talk with you about perhaps it's whatever you're feeling really anxious about, and maybe it's a breakup, maybe it's a family problem, academic grades, finances. Make them sit down, make them spend time with you, and talk how you feel after this situation, or how it's causing so much distress to you. The first few times it's going to be very, very bitter, very, very hard for the words to slip out of your mouth. But the more you rehearse, the more you understand the problem first, so your brain has more time to evaluate what you're scared of, because most of the times we don't know what we're scared of. We have this inert fear that we don't know. So you first analyze, you get to analyze what you're scared of. And second is the more you rehearse, the less anxious it gets. And that's very important, because the less anxious you get less panicky. You have less frequent panic. So it's very important, because the ultimate source of panic attack is at the end is your anxiety. So you have to understand yourself. Even example would be the father of psychoanalysis. It's Sigmund Freud, and he was a heavy smoker. He had cancer due to that, and he had to undergo surgery. So he told the doctor, he told him, I don't want to have any painkillers during my surgery. And that's because the core of psychoanalysis is to understand yourself. And by facing his fear, which is the painfulness of undergoing this surgery, by directly facing it, Sigmund Freud believed that he is understanding his phobia, understanding his fear, and which also means understanding a part of his life. So it teaches us that your phobia, your fear, your anxiety is actually part of yourself, and to understand it is a great step. It's a big step towards reducing your anxiety and reducing panic disorder. So I hope I was able to give you some insights nevertheless, if you have any comments, please comment, share the video, or if you I'm a good listener, so if you would like to contact me, please PM me. And yes, see you next time.